Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Rock here, your casual gamer dad, coming at you guys with a World of Warcraft Dragonflight video. This is going to be a four-part mini-series, doing my first ever guide to one of the many secret, I guess we could call them adventures, that are available in World of Warcraft right now. This is the most recent one that has been discovered and revealed to the public, and this is one that gives us another option to obtain the long lost tier 3 armor sets that came in the original Naxx raid instance way back in Vanilla WoW. And for those of you who are unaware of what these armor sets are and that they were even discontinued, basically after some time when the black market auction house was introduced into the game, that was the only way that you could obtain them, because after Wrath of the Lich King was released, Naxx was no longer available in the vanilla zones, which was here or over in Eastern Plaguelands. And unless you were extremely lucky and extremely rich, there was no way to get tier 3. And now, Blizzard has introduced a new way to sort of quote-unquote craft tier 3 armor pieces, piece by piece by piece. And this video is just going to go over the entire process for you guys. Now, of course, there is a written version of this guide over on Wowhead. I will put a link in the description down below to each stage, as I will refer them to as we go through the videos. And I will cover one stage per video, with the last video and last stage being just instructions on how to actually craft your tier 3 and what it's going to take. Before we begin into this video proper with the first stage, I have a list of materials here that I'm going to put on the screen here with my glorious notepad plus here. You can see this is the total mats needed before crafting anything, and this is going to be the total amount of materials you'll need, starting from stage 1 all the way to the end of stage, I think just 3. Yeah, stage 3 technically. So all in all, you're going to need 6 dark runes, 5 essences of undeath, at least 1 righteous orb, or if you are only honored with the Argent Dawn faction, you'll need 2 righteous orbs. You'll need 4 true silver bars, 6 large brilliant shards, or if you are revered with the Argent Dawn, you will only need 3 large brilliant shards. You will need 5 arcane crystals, or if you are revered with the Argent Dawn, you will only need 2. You will need 1 black coffee, and then these last 2 mats that you will need here, 20 Invader Scourge Stones and 5 Corruptor Scourge Stones, are ones that you cannot get until you're on stage 3, or like, yeah, stage 2/stage 3, and you'll understand why soon. So this is the total amount of materials you will need. My suggestion, if I were you, would be to go ahead and gather those materials first. You can either farm them yourself, or you can buy them on the auction house. They are all available, obviously, except for the last 2, but again, we will go over that. I do warn you, if you decide to buy them all, though, they're pretty expensive nowadays, so just keep that in mind. And one more little bit before we dive into this proper, I've got 3 pro tips or pieces of advice for anyone who is looking to get their pieces of tier 3 armor via this method. And the first and most important one, I would say, is to be patient. You have got to be patient. The tier 3 armor sets are discontinued, and they are highly coveted and rare for a reason, and Blizzard wanted to keep that rarity and that that want and yet scarcity of it intact as best as possible while also providing an alternative method than just relying on black market auction house. And I think at first when I read what was going to need to do this, I was a little like, ugh, what the fuck? But now that I've actually been doing it, I'm like, this is actually not so bad. This is fair. This is fair. So be patient. This is not meant to be a method that's going to get you your tier 3 armor pieces in like a day. I have seen people be like, oh, I did this whole thing and I did like 70 turn-ins and I haven't even gotten a single piece. Like, what the fuck? Drop rate's awful. It's like, okay, grow up. All right, stop looking for instant gratification. This is not meant to be like I get it all done in a couple days and now I'm fully decked out. Like, you're supposed to chip away at this for a long time. Okay, so be patient. Don't expect anything right away. There is heavy, and I mean heavy, RNG factor in this. Okay. My second pro tip or piece of advice is if you are like me and you have a seriously bad case of altitis, this is going to be a huge benefit for you. The more alts you have at, you can do all this at level 50 plus. I would suggest 60 just for safety strats, I guess. But if you have a bunch of alts that are at least 50 plus, you can do this on a ton of characters. And the very first step in stage 1, and then the very last end result at the very end of this journey, having more alts is mo better, basically. So if you're the kind of player who has a main and maybe a single alt, you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have a really hard time doing this, just so you know, just as a heads up. And then the third and final pro tip or piece of advice that I would have is, regardless to whomever your main might be, whatever class it might be, try to begin and undertake this journey on a class that is known for their mobility and has a ability or some sort of way to increase their movement speed with a relatively cooldown. So like warriors, druids, rogues, monks, demon hunters are all gonna have a really easy time doing this, and I'll explain exactly which step in what stage I'm talking about. Other class combinations are gonna be they're gonna have a much harder time doing a certain part, with some others being like completely just unable to do it because it's a very tight timing, and trust me, you guys will know when I'm talking about it. So with those out of the way, okay, let's actually properly get into the video. So this is going to be stage 1. This is what we are dubbing the Scholomance phase, and it's gonna start here in Western Plaguelands. Let me bring this up here, right here, Western Plaguelands, right over here in Scholomance. This instance was revamped back in Mist of Pandaria, and it has a normal and heroic version. This is going to have to take place in the heroic version. Okay, so make sure your dungeon difficulty is set to heroic and dive in. Now, step 1 is where we encounter our very first instance of heavy RNG, and it's going to revolve around this right here. It's a toy called Krastenov's Bag of Horrors. You can only get it in Heroic Scholomance, and I'm going to show you how to get it right here. We're just going to do a live thing. So you're just going to come through. You're going to go through, and you're going to murder everything in your path, or, everything that you want. And you're just going to come around here, blitz through here, kill Jandis, because you got to open the gate. Get out here.
Show me what you've got.
Am I still in combat? Yeah, I guess. Alright, and then you're going to clear this room here. Ignore what's going on between Ganling and Lillian Voss. So now you're going to wait for all this to play out, and the boss that we care about is going to spawn, and that's Rattlegore. Okay, now pay close attention to your chat box, okay? Because once this guy spawns, you're gonna just grind him into the dust. You know, if you're 50 plus, you should pretty much almost one-shot him. Hit him, bam. Alright, so you kill him. Now this is where you're gonna pay attention to your chat box. If you see a yell in your chat box that says, "The doctor is in," that means that the rare mob, oops, that drops this toy has spawned, and that is, of course, none other than Dr. Krasinov. He is a rare spawn. He only spawns after you kill Rattlegore, and if you see him yell, you know he has spawned. If you don't see him yell, he has not spawned. So if he has not spawned, this is the moment when you turn your ass around, you exit the instance, log on to an alt, and do it again. And this is the first point where altitis comes in very well. And yes, it's RNG, yes, it sucks, and if you don't have this toy, it's gonna be a bit of a pain in the butt. It took me 7 runs, so I had to do this on my main and 6 alts before he spawned, and I believe the toy is 100% drop rate, so just, you know, stick to it. It is tough if you don't have tons and tons of alts, but once you get there, get his toy, and you can move on to step 2. Step 2, we're just gonna continue on, and we're gonna come through here. We're gonna kill off all the bosses. There is some dialogue we gotta kind of sit through and deal with.
Now turn your lovely rune blades on our guests and fetch me their... I can't. What?
And then we're gonna wait for the door to open. Do 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 do. And we're gonna just ignore all these guys. Charge to a rat just to speed this up. And then we're gonna come in here. He's gonna be here. Kill him. Nope. See ya. Goodbye. Alright, so assuming you've moved on to step 2 and Dr. Krasinov spawned for you, you killed him, you got his toy, you have his bag of horrors, you're gonna come into this room right here. This is on the top floor. It's the first door on the right. There used to be a caster chair. I think it's this one. Is it this one? Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. I want to make sure I got the right room because I don't want to tell you guys any wrong information. Let me... No, I think it's this room here. Yes. This room here. Okay. So when you come into this room, notice how there's a bunch of bones just lying around. So what you're gonna do, you open up your thing. You're gonna use your toy. There you go. The doctor is in. So now you look like Dr. Krasinov, and you're gonna walk around. Oop, and she spawns in here, which is odd. But you come over to this tomb here, and you see Eva Sarkov is gonna show up. If you unclick the effect, and you turn into yourself, you can see, oh, she calms down. She's gonna do, you know, some dialogue, blah, 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 blah. And let me see. Gonna let me speak to her. It's not gonna let me speak to her, but that's because I've already done this. But basically, she's gonna let you talk to her. She's gonna have some dialogue. You click through it, and what she's gonna do is she's gonna give you an orb. It's gonna be called the inert spectral essence, I believe. Yeah, inert spectral interest. This is gonna be a little orb, and if you hover over it, it's gonna say that you can repair it if you use 3 dark runes and 5 essence of undeath. Three dark runes, 5 essence of undeath. That's all you need. Now, if you took my advice and you gathered up all of the materials ahead of time, congratulations. You can just right click that orb in your inventory and it will turn into, I think I here. Let me. Nope, I don't. I must put it in my bank. Well, you'll repair the orb and it will turn into the spectral essence, which is a trinket that you can put on. Now, this is very important. After you're done talking to Eva, okay, she will say, okay, come meet me outside, blah, 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 blah. I'll be waiting for you once you repair the orb. Before you leave the instance, okay, even if you've already repaired the orb, turn around. And somewhere back here, there's going to be a big glowy bone that you can interact with. Interact with it, pick it up, and you're going to get Eva's femur. Kind of weird, kind of creepy, but you're gonna need it. Okay. Now you can take this opportunity to GTFO. I'm just gonna walk out of the instance. And once you leave the instance, you can proceed on to step 3. Just gonna hopefully maybe fast forward through this part. We shall see. And just keep in mind, this is not the part I was talking about that you will need high mobility for, but if you do have high mobility, then it's gonna work out better because it just makes getting out of here quicker. But not necessary. Now, if you really wanted to shake things up, if you were a prot warrior or if you're a fury warrior, you can turn on war mode and you can take certain PvP talents to help speed this up. Like you could take barbarian as fury and you can get an extra heroic leap. And if you are a prot warrior, you can take dragon charge, which is a OGCD, just charge wherever the hell you're pointing your mouse. So that'll just gives you a little extra mobility that you can use. But go right ahead, get your ass out of Scholomance. You could burn your Hearthstone to get out of here too if you wanted to be really quick, but meh. And now if you have repaired the orb, you can proceed on to stage 3. Or I'm sorry, not stage 3, step 3. If you have not repaired the orb yet, however, and you want to farm the mats yourself, here's some advice. First off, go into Western Plaguelands. I shouldn't really need to tell you where it is, or Eastern Plaguelands, sorry. I shouldn't really tell you where it is, it's right next door to Western. And go to this point on the map called Corinne's Crossing. Okay, Corinne's Crossing has tons of undead mobs, including banshees and cultists. The cultists and the banshees have a super high chance to drop dark runes. And as I said, you're going to need at least 3 of them. And since everything there is technically considered undead, they all have a chance to drop Essence of Undeath. And you need 5 of those. Now, if by the time you get your dark runes, you don't have your Essences of Undeath, don't panic. If you really want to take a trip, and you don't want to keep bumbling around in Western Plaguelands finding undead to kill, my advice is to come over to the Kalimdor side of things, and come here to Winterspring zone. Absolutely nobody comes to this zone. Fucking not even back in vanilla did I ever see anybody in this zone. Ever. Period. It just, nobody comes here. And if you really want undisturbed farming for Essences of Undeath, come right here to Lake Kelthariel. Okay? This area is wide open and it's full to the brim with undead mobs. They're all ghosts, they're all undead. Just make the rounds, kill them all. It took me about 10 minutes to farm 5 Essences of Undeath. It took no time at all. So get your materials, repair your orb, and you will get a trinket. Now, for the now, you gotta sacrifice a trinket slot. Oh, actually, I still have it right here. Wow, I'm dumb. This is what it looks like. It's Spectral Essence. It's a trinket. Put it on. And then come on out here. Open up. Come on out to Cardaro. This is, of course, obviously, the area surrounding Scholomance. and you will come and find Eva hanging out right here, right next to her man Lucian, and you can talk to her. And I mean, of course, for me, she's just like, oh, thank you so much. But basically, she's going to say, okay, good, you decided to go ahead and let's go through it. She's going to tell you about a ritual that needs to happen. And she's going to tell you that you need 5 candles. You need her femur, which we've already gotten. And she's going to tell you you need her journal. Okay. So we're going to start with a journal because it involves going back in the Scholomance. And we will consider this step 4. So step 4, luckily, it started me off right here in Chamber of Summoning. Don't know why it does that, but it does. So you're going to proceed back through Scholomance. And you're going to come right down into the classroom, right before Grandmaster Gandling's hallway here. And you're going to come all the way to the end of the room, and all these bookcases here. This is what we're looking for, but not these ones. I'll show you exactly where you want to go. You want to come right to this bookcase here, and her journal is going to be here, but it's very well hidden. In fact, in order for me to find it, I had to come all the way into first person mode like this, and it was on, I think it was this shelf right here. No, it was definitely this one. It was on this shelf right here, but it's behind these books. Okay, and it's very, very hard to see. So you really have to zoom in and look. But it's on this bookshelf here. And just very, very carefully, like I said, go into first person mode, and when you see just a little bit of glowy, very carefully mouse over it. You'll get your cogwheel, interact with it, and boom boom. You've got Eva's journal. Congratulations. Step 4 complete. Now, get your ass out of Scholomance. Once again. Sorry, I am recording all this, not live, but as I'm doing it, so maybe I can cut this out in editing. We'll see.
Need to get closer. We don't have a target.
Okay, finally. Alright, once you're out of Scholomance, now comes... You've already gotten the journal, so that's step 4. So now we're going to move on to step 5, and that is going to be the 5 candles. Now, if you take a minute, and you take a look, all the ghosts here are called Caradaro something or other, Citizen, Cannoneer, Guard, whatever. But if you take a trip around, you'll know that there are, or you'll find that there are a few citizens that are named, like Joe Dirt, so on and so forth. And when you interact with them, they will have an optional dialogue. You got like the kids here, Melia, Sammy, you got Joe Dirt. These 2 NPCs here, Magnus Frostwake and Baker Masterson, you can ignore those 2. They don't matter. Well, you know, they're not the ones we're looking for. But you've got 2 NPCs here. And then if you come on over this way, let's see, right inside this house, you've got another one, Artist Renvey. Down here at the docks, you got Rory. That's what, that's 4 of them? Where's number 5? I think number 5 is, Where is he? He's around here somewhere. It should be Magister Marduk, I think. Oh, there he is. Magistrate Marduk, this guy. So these are your 5 NPCs, and when you talk to them, they're going to have an optional dialogue that says, "Do you have a candle?" And if you click on it, you'll get a typical vendor window. And it's going to tell you what item exactly they're looking for. You need to go around and you need to collect 5 items and then come back and turn them in to get your candles. Now, I'm going to tell you what those 5 items are, where to find them, and how to get them. Now, the first one, and I believe this is for Mr. Joe Dirt, is going to be water from the Cardaros fountain, which, of course, you can see is dry, but it's right here. There's going to be a bucket that you can interact with. Interact with the bucket, pick it up, and you get yourself a bucket full of nasty, tepid, gross-ass water. Congratulations. There's your first item. The second item on the list, since we're here in Western Plaguelands, is going to be the deed to Anderhall. This is for Magistrate Marduk. So you're going to come on over here to the tragic town of Anderhall, which has been turned into an absolute fucking war zone. And you can see right here is the town hall, or the old town hall anyway, and you're going to come right on in. Ignore everything. Just fly right in here. We'll see our old buddy Rattlegore here. We don't care about him. And then sitting on the wall right here, as soon as you walk in, is going to be a big old piece of paper nailed to the wall. That's the deed. That's what you want to pick up. Very weird place to keep your deed, but hey, far be it from me to judge. Next on the list, we're going to travel into Eastern Plaguelands, and our first destination is here in Darrowshire. Okay? This is going to be where we're going to pick up the doll for the little girl. I can't remember which one it was. It's either Sammy or what's the other one's name? Molly or something. But either way, you're going to go to Darrowshire. It's just right here in Eastern Plaguelands. I'll show you exactly where the doll is once we haul on over. And then the other remaining 2 items are also going to be in Eastern Plaguelands. So grabbing them all shouldn't take you too long, especially if you have flight like this. As long as you're 40 plus, no problem. Now, if you do not have a bunch of alts to constantly rerun Heroic Scholomance for the toy, you could, if you are not max level, do Chromie time and just queue up for Mythic Mr. Pandaria heroics, but that's very unreliable. But it is an option. Okay, so now we've come to Darrowshire, and the doll you're going to be looking for is going to be right here, right next to this meat wagon. I think it's on this side of the tire. Just come over here, click on it, pick it up. Try not to lie down and cry at just how sad the whole history of Darrowshire is. And then we're going to make our way right over here to good old Corinne's Crossing. So if you were farming your materials for Dark Runes and Essences of Undeath, you're coming on back. And we're going to make our way to this building right here, which used to be the former inn. Get there, I'll show you exactly where we're going to go. Just a straight shot right inside. Yeah, we're going to touch down. Get stuck on the door frame. You're gonna head right to the bar, but before you go to the bar, on the wall right here is going to be a big old painting, and that's the item you need. You can click on it, rip it off the wall, and now we've got 4 out of the 5 items to complete this step of the journey. Figure. Might as well see if I can get some extra mats, right? Now the very final item that you need is going to be a box of very high quality smokes that you can only find right up here in the instance of Stratholme. Now, for those of you who are unaware of how Stratholme used to be designed, back in the day, Stratholme was divided into two sides, live side and undead side, but it was one big giant instance. You could go from one side to the next side. So you could start on undead, go to live, you could start on live and go to undead. I think it was either Cataclysm or Miss Pandaria. They decided to revamp the instance and they made it into two separate instances. So now you had one instance for undead, one instance for live, and you couldn't go into one and walk over to the other. They closed it off. Well, they have changed that. We are now back to the old design of Strathholm, and I love it. And it's important to note that because you're gonna need to know that for the next stage. But what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna come over to the main entrance of live side here. You're just gonna dive on in. Now, there is a bug. I don't know if it's been fixed yet, but there is a bug that needs to be pointed out that sometimes, regardless to which entrance you go into, you'll be ported over to the undead side. If that happens to you, exit the instance, right click your portrait, click reset instances, and then that should fix the problem. I know it's silly, it's stupid, it sucks, but you know, it is what it is, man. Now, one little thing I would like to note is when you see crates like this that are highlighted, while you're here in Strathholm, loot them. Pick up your Strathholm holy water. You're gonna need a minimum of 3 of these. Okay? But my advice would be to pick up as many as you can. You can see I still got, you know, if you don't include the 2 I just picked up, I had 13 left over. But only click on the boxes that are highlighted. If the crate's not a highlighted one, it's just going to contain a bunch of bugs. So don't waste your time. Just click on the highlighted ones. Okay? Now you're going to come up here. You're going to look for Ezra Grimm's Premium Tobacco. And the box you're going to want is going to be right here on this cart. Go ahead, loot it. You got your 5 items. Now another suggestion of mine would be if I were you, I would proceed down towards Market Row and make your way up here to Crusader Square and come in and just clear out the live side. You're guaranteed to get at least 1 righteous orb by killing this guy here, Instructor Galford, and everything that dies within that cathedral will potentially give you a righteous orb. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. If you already have your righteous orbs, even better. Make your way out, and we're gonna head on back to Strathholm. I'm sorry, not Strathholm. Scholomance, or should I say Cardaro. And we're gonna turn in all of our stuff and get the candles that we need. That's the big thing. We're gonna get the candles that we need. Now, once you get your candles, you're gonna have all the materials that you need. Now, I don't think you have to talk to Eva again in order to proceed this on to the next stage. You can if you want, just for safety strats. I think I talked to her, but she didn't say anything different. She said the same thing. She just said, oh, we're gonna need to gather 5 candles. You need to get my femur, which, you know, you should have. You need to get my journal, which of course we have. And then she like goes on to explain like you're gonna have to talk to the citizens and give them something they were attached to during their life that's special to them, and bring it back to them, and they'll give you their candle, that sort of thing. Yeah, that's pretty much what she says, and honestly, I don't think it makes any difference if you talk to her or not. So once you go around, you make the rounds to Cardaro, you turn in all your stuff. Make your way back towards the Scholomance building, as I'm kind of doing right now. Only I could fly just a little bit faster. But what you're going to do is you're going to enter the building, but instead of turning left, go to the current Scholomance instance. What you're going to do is you're going to hang a right. Okay, I'm going to show you right now since I'm here. I'm just going to... Whoop. Right, you're going to come in, you're going to bang a right, and you're just going to turn left, and you're going to come into this room. Now, this whole setup will not be here for you. But what you'll do is once you come into this room, you're going to open your inventory, you're going to click on Eva's journal, or whatever item is first there, and all of a sudden this pedestal is going to appear You're gonna see this book, that's Eva's journal. You're gonna see all these candles show up. Boom, boom, boom. Ta-da! Congratulations. Ritual complete. And what it's gonna give you is, let me see, is it a fetus strength? I don't think so. You're gonna get, I don't know what it is. Anyway, you're gonna get an account-wide achievement. I'm gonna say something like, something about Scholomance. I think it's like Memory of Scholomance, something like that. I can't remember. Basically, what's gonna happen is you can now click on this book, and it can be on this character, or it can be on any character, past, present, or future. And when you click on it, the battered covers of this enchanted journal open. Upon your approach, read the grim history of Scholomance, and we are now back in Scholomance, but this is old school Scholomance, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, we now have access to vanilla era Scholomance. And you can go ahead and see Scholomance in its entirety as it used to be. Look at all those bars, right? And you can get all of, if the adventure guide shows us. No, it won't show us this. Classic. Let's see, Scolo. No, it just has the updated, but basically it has the same loot table as it did back in vanilla. And you can get all kinds of different transmoggable pieces of gear from this instance. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to end stage 1, the Scholomance stage. We are now done with stage 1 of 4. So congratulations, you are now one step closer. The next stage, hopefully the next video will be shorter, because I won't have to explain all the extra stuff. And yeah, we'll just proceed on with the next stage, which is going to be known as the Stratham stage. And this one may take a little bit longer for some of you depending on your reputation, but I'll go over that at the beginning of the next video. So far, I hope you guys are liking the videos. If you do enjoy this one, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more from my channel and all the other content that I like to provide, that could be WoW, Final Fantasy 14, BDO, anything like that, hit that subscribe button, help my channel grow, and I will see you all in part 2. Thank you so much for watching.